It's a sign of interest in studying, and finding its answers helps us grow in that realm. So today's question that has come is in connection with the situation in the families worldwide. The question is this: institution of family and marriage is turning history, and that to more extent in countries where God is believed. Does it mean that religion is not making any significant impact at all? Yeah, interesting question, isn't it? And I think the question is very much relevant also, because we see that this problem, breakdown in families and problems among spouses and all sorts of things are increasing in leaps and bounds. So seeing that, well, definitely one will ask this question. But I feel that the mention of religion, probably the questioner has got the Christianity in his mind, it seems, because it seems that he is looking at the family breakdowns happening in the Western world more than the East, and the people who say that they trust in God, well, this kind of family problems are more evident than the other world. So is not this so-called faith, is not this profession of a religion, etc., is it not making any impact at all in the people there? That is what the questioner is asking. But let me tell you one thing. Well, this is not a problem that is limited to certain places like West or some other similar countries. It's everywhere. That's a fact that we have to accept. Whether religious or non-religious, well, everywhere we see this problem. Whether Christian or non-Christian, everywhere we see this problem. If you look at the statistics, of course, it may give us, an indication that certain places are, faring well. For example, you look at Luxembourg, one of the smallest countries in Europe. Well, there, the rate of divorces is 87%. Just imagine, 87%. That means 100 people marrying, 87 ends up in divorce. And US has a rate of 46%. That means if 100 people are marrying, half of them ends up in divorce. And like that, you look at many Western countries, that is the condition, that is the state. But at the same time, coming to India, well, it is just 1%. Data says that among 1,000 marriages, only 13 ends up in divorce. Compared to West, well, it looks like great, isn't it? No doubt about it. Just 1%, that means out of 100, only 1 ends up in divorce. Does it mean that in the East, especially among the Indians, family life is great? Does it mean that all are living happily in the homes? Well, that is not the case. That is what I want you to notice. That is not the case. You go into the details of the family situations, we will understand that the things here is nothing better than anywhere else. Probably the problems here is not given much visibility, doesn't have much visibility. People don't see that much because we keep it to ourselves. We keep everything, the problems to ourselves. That has to do with, the society and the nature of the people and things like that. The lesser rate of divorce in India may be attributed to various things like social relationships, family support, etc. more definitely in India than in any other places. Not only that, divorce is still a social stigma in India. Nobody like to have that stigma around their names. So people avoid it. People try to, suffer, under such situations rather than walking out. And not only that, the economic situation also need to be understood. Many of the women are not working in this society. Though they have problems, they cannot walk out. If they walk out, they have no place to go anywhere else. And not only that, people think more of their children here than anywhere else, their future, looking after them. And apart from all this, the divorce proceedings in India is not that, easy as you see in other places. Maybe all these things plus many other reasons, we see the rate very much less here, but that doesn't mean that everything is, rosy. There are problems, but people still continue. Homes are cracking and leaking, and the families are breaking down everywhere. It has nothing to do with religion. And people who say in God we trust, the question that we have to ask is, what God? What is their conception about God? Do they really trust? Do they really depend? Well, if those things are there, definitely there will be change in the situation of the families here or anywhere else. But let me tell you one thing. These things, even in India, let me tell you, in the last 2 decades, the rates have doubled. You say 1%, that's true, but they have doubled in the last 2 decades. So it's increasing. And things may get worse. Now the reason for this is, main reason, well, one word that we often hear these days is intolerance. We see that in every realm. Intolerance. People do not have that ability to endure things. If there are any problems, they run off. They walk out. That is the situation now. And we have to deal with that. And selfishness. That is very much, people want to enjoy. I want to enjoy. I don't want anyone to interfere in my enjoyment. That is there very much, that attitude. Ego is stronger. Economy, that's also playing a havoc in the families. Like that, there are a lot of things. But let me tell you one thing. Well, though we see this trend, this upward trend in the rates of the family breakdowns, it should not be allowed to go like this. It's necessary for us to deal with it. And how can we deal with it? Let me just suggest few points without any explanation. The first thing is, well, we have to acknowledge that it is God who has instituted this marriage and family life. If it is God, we will look to God for guidance, for direction, isn't it? And not only that, we should remember that all things that happens in our life is God ordained, even the family life, even that marriage. And not only that, we should accept the differences between males and females and increase in the understanding of each other. And not only that, above all, you have to give place to love in your home. There may be many things that you don't like, but those things that you don't like should not cause you to go to the extremes in action. But you have to give place to love. Even if there is many things which you don't like, you can still love, give place to love. And apart from all that, let me tell you one thing. There is a book which we can call as the handbook for a successful family life, which is that book, Holy Bible itself. From the beginning to the end, there are illustrations, there are instructions, there are imperatives aimed at this goal. What goal? Successful family life. Try it, go to it, dig into it, and find what God says through that to you and I, and try to obey that, and there will be great change in our family life. Family life is given to us to live joyfully, fulfilling the purposes of it. If that should happen, it is necessary for us to follow the guidelines given there. So go to it, find direction from it. May God bless you as you think over it. Thank you so much.
मुझको माफ किया, गले से लगा लिया, मुझको